All right, guys, we are live for what I estimated to be halftime, but it's taking a little bit longer. Um, can I say Super Bowl on here? I know most big companies have to say the big game for legal reasons, um, but we are live. I wanted to go ahead on here and unbox a couple of things or unwrap a couple of things. Um, I've got a pack from not Walmart, but Ollie's. That caught my eye. I don't anticipate anything big being in there, but there was one book on top that interested me. So I picked it up, and we're gonna open it up right here. I also have a package from an Instagram sale from I believe $1 comics. And if I get distracted, it's because I'm trying to also watch the game. And Tom just scored another touchdown right before halftime. Looks like the Chiefs are going to go up 20 or 21-6 going into halftime. And so we can officially say that halftime is game time, according to Nick Cannon and Drumline. Anyway, I am going to open up my Instagram sale package and also maybe spoil a little bit of my favorite book for the past few weeks, which is Future State The Flash issue number 2. Issue number 1 was kind of standard, um, kind of laid out a scenario that probably scared a lot of Flash viewers or Flash readers. I'm sorry, especially Wally West fans. But Flash, Future State Flash issue number 2 really brought it home and really showed us a lot about the character and legacy of the Flash. So first, before we get into all of that with the Future State Flash, let me go ahead and open up my IG package. And here we go. I already took it out of the box. Um, I kind of dislike unboxing things on screen, especially live, making people listen to cardboard cutting, and depending on how much tape everybody use, having to watch me untape for 3 or 4 minutes. Nobody wants to see that. So I took this out beforehand. And I know on the front, the first book I know is a Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man book, um, because you can kind of see through the bubble wrap. Let us see what we have. And keep in mind, all of these books were $1. Well, actually, most of them were $1. I forget. I purchased I purchased one book from one of their other stores because apparently $1 books, $1 comics, $5 comics, and $10 comics are three separate accounts on Instagram, but they're run by the same people, and so they were willing to combine ship my books from both venues. Oh, oh, I got one piece of tape that refuses to work with me. There we go. Hope I didn't hurt a book. All right. Anyway, the first book from this sale is let's see if we can Ultimate Comics Spider-Man with Miles Morales and Spider-Woman on the front. I forget who this Spider-Woman is. I don't think it is what is Jessica's last name? I am blanking because I am live. But I don't think this is the same Spider-Woman as regular 616 continuity. The next book we have is Superman number 4. Of course, with I think the character's name is Bloodsport or Bloodshot on the cover. And of course, this is the character that Idris Elba will play in the Suicide Squad movie. And this book only cost me $5, so I went ahead and got it. Next book is always one of my favorite lower price keys to get. Um, I actually don't like its cover as much as the next one, but we have Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 79. Of course, this is the first appearance of the Ultimate Flash, not Ultimate Flash by Night. That would be me. The Ultimate Moon Knight's first appearance. I'm really not a huge fan of this cover. I like cover number 80. Well, the cover for issue 80, I like more because it has Moon Knight on the front with a big sickle. I think that's what the weapon is called. The weapon with like a huge staff and a curved blade on one side of the staff. I think it's called a sickle. But it is the cover for issue number 80, and I like it more. But first Ultimate Moon Knight, $1, can't beat it. Had to have it. Next book is oh, Mark Spector, Moon Knight, issue number 38. Aha! Ahoy, Captain. Thank you for joining me. I was just going live basically for halftime and showing off a couple of books I got and an Ollie's pack with a pretty cool cover in it that I picked it up for, and then we'll see what else is in it. But my last book from $1 Comics is Flash issue 282. And of course, I picked one of these. It was only $1, and I pick these up anytime I can get them in at a good price. Hal Jordan getting beat up by the Flashes, which is pretty funny. I actually just looked at one of my Action Comics covers where Superman is basically sucker punching the Flash as he runs by. I don't think that's very super of Superman, but that's what happened. I haven't read the book, but I saw the cover, and that's what I'm telling everybody happened. So my next set of book, of course, is from that Ollie's pack I talked about. Um, yes, Cap, I am watching the game. I actually tried to schedule this to come on right at halftime, but a couple of extra timeouts happened, a couple of penalties happened, stopped the clock, and messed my timing up. I probably got it in within 1 or 2 minutes, so it's pretty close. But yeah, I'm watching the game, and it is very entertaining. I want to see what the Chiefs are going to do in the second half because it is not looking real good. As Black Widow would say, the sun is getting real low. So yeah, we'll do that. So here is my Ollie's pack. As you can see, you have the Avengers cover with looks like She-Hulk on it, but that is not the cover that drove me to pick up this pack. All right. So the first book, and usually you say the main event for last, but I want to go ahead and show the main event first. The first book, and the book that really made me want to pick this pack up is there we go. Oh, let's see if we can get it away from the lights. All right, the Amazing Spider-Man 17 variant edition with Howard the Duck on the cover. That is why I picked up this pack, because you can never go wrong with Howard the Duck on your cover. And I've got to get better at showing these books. So let's see. What else do we have in our pack? Oh, I know this guy. It is Peacemaker, number 4. Of course, Peacemaker is the character that's really making all of the noise from the upcoming Suicide Squad movie. Yes, the Duck. Peacemaker is, if I'm not mistaken, getting his own spinoff from the Suicide Squad movie, and is making waves. I think it's because of John Cena being playing the character. But we'll see how the movie turns out and how the show turns out. Ah, and not to point away from my stream, but if you are watching the game, you get to see the Nickelodeon slime in the end zone for the replays. Next book out of my pack, Dark Stars, number 7. And looks like Flint is disgraced. I don't know what Flint did. I don't know who Flint is, but he is disgraced in Dark Stars. Oh, let's see. Oh, now I'm trying to. Aha. Yeah, actually, I forgotten that I got the first cameo of King Shark. I think it's Superboy Zero. And I'm looking out for the first full appearance, but I don't want to overpay for it. I'm hoping to uh, uh, sneak up on it on the cheap, basically. All right, next book is Force Works. What is this? Force Works number 5, and there's a Black Brigade. I don't know who the Black Brigade is, but whoever it is shows up in Force Works number 5. And of course, the last book is Avengers number 23 with She-Hulk Jessica Walters in the looks like homage to is that the 25th anniversary border covers? I think it's 25th anniversary border covers. Um, yeah, yeah, nice looking She-Hulk cover. And like I said, the Ollie's packs are only $5 whenever you get them out of Ollie's, and so it's basically $1 a book. If you find 1 or 2 books that you really like out of there, then it's basically $2.50 a book, which isn't bad. Um, I would probably pay cover price to have the Amazing Spider-Man with Howard the Duck on the cover, and so everything else is gravy. All right, and so the next thing I have going is um, a really quick review and maybe a couple of spoilers for a book I really enjoyed this week. As you can probably tell, the name Flash by Night is derived from Flash and Werewolf by Night, which is where Moon Knight comes from. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, Captain, who did you have in the Super Bowl this evening? Um, yeah, so I have Future State Flash issue number 2, and I know a lot of people. Well, a lot of people are iffy on Future State. Some people dove in for the spec, and then some people read Future State for the stories. And I picked it up. I picked up a couple of books, the Wonder Woman book and the next Batman book for the Raiders. I actually hope the Raiders turn the corner next year and get to the playoffs. Um, I'm a fan of John Gruden. Knock on wood if you with me. And I also, well, of course, I like Henry Ruggs. He came from Alabama. Um, but I think the Raiders are one of those teams that is always nice when they're in the hunt. Um, but Future State Flash number 2 was a really good story to me. Future State Flash number 1 kind of laid out this premise that Wally West was really up to no good. When I say up to no good, he had stolen Barry's speed. Um, killed Wallace West at the Teen Titans Academy, and then the remaining speedsters who had no speed were trying to use technology to catch up to him and find out what's going on with Wally. Why is he going crazy? Why is he hurting people? They found out that it's probably not him. There's this rider of the apocalypse named Famine who is actually in control of Wally West and doing these things. Um, and that's kind of how the book left off. The book left off with Wally or Famine also killing Jay and doing significant damage to the Flash family as a whole. And Barry decided that as much as he tried, he may have to use weapons from some of his past rogues. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, people are lucky to be able to say that about themselves these days. Um, but Barry decided that he may have to use weapons from the rogues to take down Wally, and that's kind of where this book picks up. Let's see, Future State, The Flash, issue number 2. And so what happens in issue number 2 is that Barry does indeed um, put together weapons, cobble together weapons through science of his rogue enemies, and goes after this Famine character that's inhabiting Wally's body. If the character does exist, he's kind of afraid that it's in Wally's head, but he's hopeful that it is indeed Famine causing all of the destruction and not Wally himself. And so he goes out, he confronts Famine and Wally, and eventually through some of the weapons gets Famine to show himself and show himself to be real. And they have a battle in which Famine loses and Barry thinks he's won, but then Barry finds out that Famine is not only out here feeding on people physically, he's feeding on hope. And Famine kind of feels himself taking the hope away from Barry when he shows Barry that he is not dead. And then what Barry does is Barry, while being confronted by Famine, has his flash ring, and his flash ring has been recording the whole time. He's been talking to Famine while he fights him. He's been giving away Famine's secrets and such out loud the whole time. And Famine takes Barry, who has no powers, and he basically sets Barry 1 second out of yes, yes, I got to 50. Actually, during Rod's live stream earlier, I got to 50. And I think I agree with you. Like you said, I need to start going live more often and being live on other people's shows to get my face out there and not just kind of make videos for the void. Um, well, the last part was my words, not yours. But I think I do need to start going live more often. Um, and for every new sub that I get, that advice comes from you. So I appreciate it. But Famine ends up taking Barry 1 second out of future state continuity. Basically, I think the way it works, putting him on another Earth in another part of the multiverse because he's a second behind now, behind the future state. But as Famine leaves, um, Beast from the future state Teen Titans finds Barry's ring and says that Barry left a clue and left hope for them to take everything back. So if you've read Future State Teen Titans, the Flash kind of leads into Future State Teen Titans, which I believe leads into Future State Shazam. and so I'm going to have to keep up with that story now. But I really love the Future State Flash book because Flash, no matter how much technology, how many weapons he cobbled together, he went out there to fight a speedster, and B, one of the four riders of the apocalypse. I don't even know what the apocalypse is, but Barry decided that in order to give people information, in order to give other heroes hope, he was going to take his mere human self out here to fight a speedster and a rider of the apocalypse. And he paid some kind of a price, but he left hope for the Teen Titans. And hopefully, between the Teen Titans and the Shazam story, the apocalypse is defeated, and maybe, just maybe, one of those two books will rescue Wally from famine. But anyway, that was Future State Team. Well, that was my synopsis, my wrap up of Future State Flash issue number 2, and I guess issues number 1 and 2. And what can I say? I am of the belief. I haven't been reading a long time, but I am of the belief that since I've been reading, and probably a little bit before, that while Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are the Trinity, they are the oldest mainstays of DC as we know it, that Flash has kind of been the heart and soul and the consistency of DC in the last 5 years, maybe 10. I know that's kind of a hot take. I know people are going to disagree, but I'm not sure if you can. As unhappy as people have been with Superman and with Batman, and yeah, Flash kind of keeps the universe going. Um, Flash is it. That's my guy. That's why I started reading comics. So we are going to get out of here. I appreciate Captain Comics for stopping by and listening to me ramble. And if you watch this on the rewind, I appreciate you for taking your time and taking, what is this? What am I going on? 23 minutes? 23 minutes to watch me ramble on about the Flash and a Howard the Duck cover on a Spider-Man comic. I think they will do a Flash movie. Um, I've been waiting on it and waiting on it and waiting on it since before the Justice League movie. Um, yeah, I've been waiting a long time for a Flash movie. I've been hoping they would do one. I am of the opinion that DC should have done solo movies, and I know like the MCU gets old. I was just talking about this with Rod and C3 Comics, that a lot of people kind of wish that everything was as good as the MCU, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of like saying every team should be as good as the Kansas City Chiefs just because they have football players and have a salary cap. Everybody should perform to that level, but it's kind of unreasonable to think that every studio is going to be as successful as the others. But I do think that if they started as solo movies right about now, right after Endgame, they would have had an established universe, and the Justice League movie could have helped them overtake the MCU. Now that's a strong statement considering what the MCU is doing with WandaVision and what they probably will do with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know if everybody saw that trailer during the I think first quarter, but if you didn't see the trailer during the first quarter, the entire trailer is on YouTube. So when you leave here, go check it out. But I do believe that if DC had done solo movies and then built up to the Justice League, I think they would have been in a better position. but I do want a Flash movie. Um, they signed Michael Keaton to it already, and I am of the belief that Michael Keaton is not going to play around. I don't think Michael Keaton would have signed up if it wasn't serious. So here we go. We just have to see how long it takes for Warner Brothers and DC to get their stuff together. I know. Actually, that's one other thing I wondered about. Was the idea? I know they want to kind of do the older Bruce Wayne, kind of retired Bruce Wayne in Batman versus Superman going into the Justice League. But I didn't understand why you would want a older Bruce who's been around and pretty much retired and has been through the Joker and one of his Robins. I assume Jason Todd has already gotten killed. I don't know why you want to do that and pair him with a Superman that's only been on Earth for about a year. But it's one of those ideas they had, and it was okay. It was entertaining enough for me. I watched it a few times. Um, but I don't know why you would mix older characters and younger characters in that fashion. But that's what they did. I don't even think the if you watch the Crisis on Infinite Earths CW crossover, I don't even think the Flash called himself the Flash in the movie. And it looks like the Barry Allen from the CW Flash is where he gets the idea from the Flash. Yeah, money. Mm, everything comes down to money. But it looks like the Barry Allen from the CW Flash show gave Ezra Miller's Flash the idea of being called the Flash. I don't think he was called the Flash in the movie. Um, I may be wrong, and I'm always up for being corrected if I am. But it was kind of a weird mix of characters. Like I said, it was entertaining enough. Um, I watched it enough time for myself. Well, yeah, yeah, and I don't know if Barry is. I don't know if Barry's a comic relief kind of guy, or if he should be, but he definitely was comic relief for that movie. He had all the jokes, and I guess it's something I can live with. Um, he hasn't had, as far as I know, he hasn't had Eobard Thawne to torture him yet, and be, of course, as I know him, the pettiest villain in DC Comics. He hadn't had that happen yet. That may harden his heart a little bit, but he was definitely the comic relief of the show, um, of the movie. I'm sorry, but we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. They're talking about opening up the move. The oh yeah, the race at the end. I mean, we all know who was going to win, but the race at the end was really funny. It just showed that somebody had been paying attention. How much attention they paid to everything, I don't know, but somebody was paying attention to the fact that this iconic thing has happened a few times before, which um, actually makes me wonder if, and I guess it's an age old question now, but if Henry Cavill is still staying around. I hadn't heard anything from or about him and this character for a while, but I do want him to stay around if DC is going to reboot and rebuild and retool and eventually find their footing. But as long as I get my Flash movie, I guess I'll be happy. Anyway, it's time for me to get off here. Time for me to watch the second half of the game and then get ready for work tomorrow. Go ahead and iron and do all that good stuff. Try to be responsible. Aquaman won the race. Well, I mean, they were racing to the Pacific. I think it was the Pacific they were racing to. Aquaman was probably already there. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here. And as I always say, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in the flash. Thanks, Cap.